Hi, my name is Sarah Schwartz, and I'm a reporter with Education Week. Over the past few years, I've been following the science of reading movement. It's an effort to bring reading instruction in line with the research on what we know works in the classroom. Here's what I think might be coming next for the science of reading, looking ahead to 2024. First, we'll start seeing more research into the effects of some of these new laws and policy changes. Researchers have put out a few studies so far, and the results have been mixed. One study from researchers at Michigan State University examined reading laws passed over the last decade. They found that states that provided a lot of support for students and teachers had the biggest gains in test scores. These supports were things like training and coaching for teachers, lots of interventions for struggling students, and dedicated funding. Policies that didn't have these features weren't as successful. Another study from California looked at a grant program aimed at raising reading scores in the lowest performing schools in the state. The program gave schools about $1,000 per student to spend on evidence-based approaches to teaching reading. Schools that participated in the program saw a moderate increase in student scores compared to schools that didn't. I think it's likely that we'll see more of these efficacy studies going forward. Studies that examine both the national landscape and specific programs in individual states. Hopefully, this research can provide the field with a better understanding of which policies are most effective and why. Second, we may see more legal challenges to science of reading laws. We've already seen one in Ohio. There, an organization called the Reading Recovery Council of North America filed a lawsuit to block the state's new reading law from going into effect. Reading Recovery is a program for struggling first grade readers, and it uses a method that Ohio banned in its new law. Researchers have said that the method, called cueing, can make it harder for students to develop strong word reading skills. In their lawsuit, Reading Recovery argued that the legislature overstepped its authority in attempting to ban cueing. The case is ongoing, and it's possible that other publishers or other organizations in general could mount similar lawsuits elsewhere. Third, we'll see more scrutiny directed toward publishing companies that claim their products are aligned to the science of reading. Many new state laws require that schools use curricula that use evidence-based methods to teach reading. Some laws also provide dedicated funding for these purchases. For the past year or so, experts have warned that publishers might slap a science of reading sticker on their product to land these sales, even if they haven't made the necessary changes to their content. Now that schools have been using some of these new purchases for months or years, I think we'll start to hear from educators about where they succeed or where they fall short. Fourth, and finally, we'll see an increased focus on literacy leadership and implementation science. One reading researcher told me something last year that I won't forget. She said, "Just because you pass a law doesn't mean anything changes for kids." I've heard similar messages from other experts, teachers, and state policy leaders over the past few months. Making lasting change requires a whole infrastructure, things like systems for organizing teacher trainings and networks of coaches and support staff. I think we'll start to see more evidence of what mandating change looks like with and without this infrastructure.